Oh, there.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 75 of Mirrorless Minutes. Mike and Jamie here. Mike again in that odd location that we hardly ever see him in. Oh, yeah, called home.
It's great. Yeah, it's awesome. Cool. I actually think, the next show. Oh, I am going to be home for the next show, but I will have come home from a travel. Yeah. So I come home on a Wednesday, so I will be traveling. But yeah, this is odd.
Yeah. Well, you're not home for very long. You're actually taking off to
tomorrow night to Chicago with Lou Peoples, who doesn't watch the show enough, so we'll talk about him.
We'll have to talk smack about him. He was an Olympus guy for a minute. He gave it a shot
for a minute. Yeah,
I give him some credit. He tried.
I'll give him some credit, and on the same flip side, we'll give him some crap at the same time.
Is he a dentist? I wanted to ask because isn't that the Leica thing? I mean, he shoots a Leica, so I always assume he's a dentist.
Yeah, he might be. He's not a dentist. Maybe he should be.
Maybe he missed his calling. He should have been a dentist. He's got the Leica thing down pat. So, hey, what have you been up to, man?
Hey, just biking this last. I've been going crazy with the TG tracker. I've been doing video, and I know we're going to talk about it.
Yeah,
we're going to do some segues back and forth. I think about video, but I've shot so much video this weekend between the tracker, the new Tough. This Insta 360.
Yeah,
I got video everywhere. I went mountain biking for the first time. Actually, you just doing normal trails, but I went on. One. You still there? Oh, jeez. Uh-oh. Might be getting technical difficulties. Let's see. Got any chat going on?
So I'm assuming you were going to say that you went to one of those bike courses, right? A mountain bike course.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Can you see me now?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, you were gone. You were gone for a bit there.
You were frozen.
Oh, I was frozen and you were gone.
The funny thing is like, who knows, like who froze or disappeared or whatever. Right. We'll never know. One of the viewers will have to chime in and tell us.
I was going to tell you about what a silly mistake I made. I couldn't tell which way to turn. Ended up on the most difficult path. All of a sudden, I'm going down, and my speedometer says 70 miles an hour downhill. I'm going, this is not right. Then I see the jumps. I'm going, oh crap!
Oh no!
So I left. I had the TG tracker on, and I played that back. It was so hilarious hearing me going. I'm swearing. Awesome. I couldn't even get back up the hill. I had to walk the bike.
Oh man. So was it one of those trails that had like the wooden ramp things that you go up and across and down and the bermed turns and all that?
Some of it's not like motocross. See, I used to race motocross, so it's I'm into it. I'm going, I'm ready, I can do this. Except that was 40 years ago. But it's really a mountain biking trail that's if you want to call it groomed by mountain biking people.
Yeah,
it's 17 miles of it at Stony Creek Metro Park.
Okay. Yeah, I know there's some trails here near Lansing that they're mountain bike trails, but a lot of them out west, even what they do is they make these wooden tabletops. They're made out of logs and stuff like that. I didn't know if that was I
actually think they're putting stuff like that in.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I went past a group of guys with those fat tire bikes.
Oh yeah.
And it sounded like a I don't know what it sounded like, a tank coming to me, because they're all screaming and yelling. They all got the same shirts on. Yeah. They're all going, running.
Oh boy.
I mean, I thought, oh god.
Or they're like the Harley Davidsons of the mountain bike community.
Yeah, exactly. But so how about you? You've been out traveling out west again.
Yeah, every weekend. I mean, it's really not anything different. I got to hook up with Jerry James, another Olympus shooter, and Muskegon to we went there just to shoot the sunset, and then it looked like, oh man, it's not even gonna be a sunset because the clouds started rolling in, and then I noticed way off in the distance in the lake I could see rain coming down. You could see the rain shafts, and I thought, man, maybe that'll build up. And sure enough, we got a little bit of lightning out of it, which was kind of fun to at least sort of get a few lightning shots. They weren't so great, but it was cool just to hang out. For me, I say it over and over again. I like to hang out with like-minded people and just shoot. And the cool thing is, with Jerry and I were talking about with live composite, there were some friends of ours, they're not Olympus shooters. They were out on the pier shooting, and they're Canon and Nikon shooters, I think. So we're talking about, you know, what it's like to shoot lightning for those guys, and they're out there and they get the camera all set up, you know, and then they get the shutter release, and there's click, hope I get one, click, hope I get one, click, hope I get one, click, hope I get one. Whereas Jerry and I, it's like live composite, get your settings right, start it, and then we just hang out and we shoot the breeze for, you know, an hour until we get some lightning, you know.
Yeah.
So it's easy to be social when you're shooting lightning and stuff like that with live composite.
You can just talk and watch the back of your camera and go, oh, I think I got another good one. Let's start another one.
Yeah, that's exactly how it happens. So
yeah,
it was pretty good.
I think did you broadcast from there? Or maybe it was just your pictures. You must have put something out that night.
Yeah,
said,
I was shooting out
things
some photos.
Don't look good.
Yeah. But it was a good time. And, you know, and also I spent time, you know, I feel embarrassed to even say, I had the TG-5 for about a week before I opened the box.
Yeah.
And decided that this weekend was going to be a weekend where I knew I could get, you know, some time away and do some stuff where I could actually, you know, use did I say TG tracker?
No,
you said TG-5. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the tracker on the desk. So anyways, I knew I'd get some time to play with the TG-5. So that's what I did this weekend as well. So I've got some shots that I'll share from that. I didn't abuse it on a mountain bike course like you did. I just walking around with it.
Oh man. And I'll tell you, I know you're not going to show it because it doesn't play video over this. Google Plus has got to play video because we're going to do so much video. That darn shot of your dog.
Oh, you're talking about doing screen shares?
Yeah. I mean, I know it may not go. I don't know if it would go good enough. You're not sharing that one, are you, tonight?
I will. We'll give it a shot tonight.
Give it a shot.
See if it works.
It's just, I love that shot. That should be like on I don't know, a Pepsi ad or something. Like this just makes you feel good. You know, the dog's just chilling out.
Yeah, she was. And what's funny is that she was sitting in the back seat of the car. I'm queuing it up right now.
Yeah,
she was sitting in the back seat of the car. And the windows down.
Oh, that wasn't like a fan. I thought that was a fan, like in the house.
She's sitting on my camera. She's sitting on my camera bag, holding the bag.
Funnier.
And my son is driving the car, driving us home from camping. You know, so we're doing like 70 down the highway, which is scary with a 16-year-old.
With a 16-year-old.
So he's driving down the highway 70. We have the windows down, and the wind is just blowing her hair like this. It's just so fast. It's all over the place. But at 240 frames a second, she's doing like the Bo Derek running down the beach hair kind of thing. You know, it's a riot. It's really cool. And the great thing is too, you know, so we're talking about the TG-5 now, so we might as well just stay with it. So I always loved on the TG-4 the slow motion. The only problem is that when you started doing like the 120 and 240 frames a second, you had a massive reduction in your file or your resolution.
Quality. Yeah, it really looked rough.
It scaled down really small. So this one though, at 240 frames, or I'm sorry, 120 frames per second, it's full HD, and then at 240, it's 720. So it's still HD. It's just not 1080p.
Still very good, especially if you're going to throw it on Facebook.
Very good. Especially. Very good for sharing online, without a doubt. You're not going to watch it on a 4K TV, but it got a lot of good reactions on Facebook. So it's definitely a good place to be sharing that kind of stuff. So it's such a fun thing.
Yeah.
I guess we could keep talking about the Tough, because I know we're getting questions about it.
Yeah, we both got it. I got it just Monday. In fact, I came home because I was going to go out. We went out Monday night riding, and my idea was to take the 4. Like I usually do. I just switched out batteries and said, all right, I got the 5.
Yep.
Probably not the best thing to do, considering I didn't familiarize myself at all with it.
Right.
And then there's a lot of new stuff. I mean, just like you said, we were talking about it just before the show, the exposure wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah. How cool is that? That it's got
really
an exposure wheel on there now.
Yeah.
In fact, I turned it as I was by mistake. I go, what the heck is that? I don't remember that.
And it does. So for those who aren't familiar with the Tough TG-5, it's one of the rugged cameras, and it has a few things in it that you're not going to get anywhere else. Well, one of them, the big one, really is the Pro Capture mode, which is on the EM1 Mark II.
Right.
So you've got, and I haven't used this yet on the TG-5, unfortunately. I will probably this weekend, but so you've got Pro Capture and you've got live composite. Those are two things that you're not going to get in any other camera system. And before the TG-5, there was nowhere else to get those other than like on a much larger, more expensive camera. So pretty cool stuff. Ergonomically, it's definitely a little different. The grip style on the TG-5, it's kind of it's a little more recessed, a little more angular, which makes gripping, I would say, a lot easier if you're, you know, running around with it in your hands. You know, so this is the TG-4, and you can see it's just a gradual bevel.
Right.
Not going to get as good of a grip on it, whereas this is definitely more recessed, much more angular in shape, and actually kind of curves around up here at the top.
I was just going to say mine is, I can see my finger rests in that curve right there. It was a lot easier to hold.
Another thing too that I was so glad to have show up on this camera, and it's not anything that I suggested to them, and I wish I would have, and it's just one of those things where I just didn't remember to do it. So on the TG-4 and the TG-5, on the higher end toughs, you've got this little accessory, you know, lens type option. I don't even know what you'd call it. It's just an accessory feature. You know, right now this is just a ring, but you'll see on this one, I've got this light guide, which actually, let me set this camera down. This is so awkward to do this. So right here on the camera is the flash behind this, and the flash shines into this and then is backwards. Right. And then it's channeled here. Okay. So it's like a ring light. Okay. And this is an accessory that goes on your camera. On the TG-4 and prior, there's nothing to hold it in place. This one, it's not going to come off because there's actually a lock right there. So
is that the same one from the 4 though that you
This is right from the 4. Yeah.
Okay, good, because I got that light. I'm going to have to bring that this weekend.
So I can get it on there and just kind of put it on. Boom. And now it's locked in place. And the reason I say that's important is because I've had this pop off when it was on the TG-4 several times, and I had it pop off once at the beach and chalked it up as being gone, and then walking back to the car found it. So it won't happen anymore.
Especially when you open, like when you open all that up too, if that falls off, I mean, you've got some exposed, I don't know, I'm sure that's probably still sealed.
Yeah, it's all sealed, but still it's a place for dirt to collect.
I was just gonna say it's an exposed area that I don't care if it is sealed, you don't want.
No, yeah, you definitely don't want to get it all gummed up with crap. So and then I'm going to share some photos tonight that we're taking with it, plus that video of our dog, which is going to be funny, hopefully. In one of the photos, I want to point out something that I thought was pretty cool for a point and shoot camera. Not necessarily like a feature per se, but just the capability of the camera. So at a point.
Well, you want to talk about, you said you used it. I didn't switch mine on up at the top there, where I don't know how
the log mode.
The log mode.
So the log mode. So there's a switch on the top here. Okay. It says log.
Yeah, I can see it. Good.
So what that does is you flip that on and you start gathering all this data, and it gets embedded into the files that are created there. So like, if you see this here, that says GPS. So it's got GPS in the camera. So you flip the log on, and now all of your images, the metadata contains GPS coordinates, which is cool. And, you know, and these cameras log other information as well. So I'm not going to go into everything that it logs, but you get more information in the file of your camera than you probably might necessarily need. But, you know, you could go back and look at, you know, what the conditions were like when you shot that photo at a given location, which is always kind of cool.
Especially if you're using it normally under some extreme conditions too.
Right.
Maybe.
Exactly. You know,
cold and or super hot even, or whatever, you know.
If you're climbing in the mountains or whatever, you know,
there's in the water and all that. So yeah, this one for some reason, I mean, I got the other one sitting over there, but it does, I don't know if it feels any heavier or it just feels stronger. Maybe it's just all the grip. I mean, as crazy as that sounds, that little indentation.
No, I think you're right.
Makes me like, if I feel like if I could, I could flip it and it's not going to fall out of my hand as easy.
Yeah.
That's usually what's happening when I'm taking pictures with this. I'm driving a bike. Obviously not supposed to do that. But,
Mike is a distracted bicycling.
I am, but I've never gotten pulled over for bicycle distraction. Right. I'll just get run over, not pulled over.
Yeah, right. So before we go into the image here, let's talk a little bit. So first, I just want to say congratulations again to Jeffrey McFeeters. He won the Drobo that shipped out a couple of days ago. So he should have it. If not today, it's definitely coming tomorrow. So that's cool. Yeah. And then also we had other winners as well that are winning some stuff from Olympus, some swag from the gear shop there. So I'm waiting on reply back from Olympus to get you guys some codes so we can get you guys taken care of as well. So again, to everybody that participated, you guys didn't make it easy on us. It was tough to go through the winners. But what was cool is that I think everybody that was involved in the judging, Megan Crandallmeyer, Seth Dimstra, and Mike and I, we all were kind of on the same playing field as far as what we liked. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So, and it's a lot of different photographers too.
Yeah.
Different genres that we normally do. So everybody agreed on you know, the photo that won it for sure.
Yeah. It was kind of hard not to be overwhelmed with that shot. And so with that said, we got to give something else away. We got to do another giveaway. And I know we've got something else to give away. And do you have something?
I actually have it here in my hand. Hold up. It's not on a camera. It's actually got the tag on it. So, and this is the Monarch strap. This is the same size you have. Is that 40-inch maybe? I don't know. I'm sorry.
No,
I don't know the exact inch.
No, this is not. This isn't the across the body one. This is more of like
I don't know what it is. I think the across the body one might have been 50.
Yeah. So I honestly don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to figure it out when we put a link to it. But yeah, so we're going to be giving that away. And you know, what do we think? What do you think? What is going to be the prerequisite to win this?
Well, I think it's definitely got to be a photo again, because I like that. I know people sharing their work. I love to see what everybody's shooting. And if you want to do it the same way we did the Drobo, just as like an open and not necessarily have it tied to a category, or do you want to get like really weird and creative with it and gives everybody a project?
I don't know. I sort of like the idea of like, why do I need a strap?
Yeah, there you go. That's a good idea. You know what?
Show us something. Why do you need a strap? But it's got to be a picture.
Yes. How about this?
It's a story.
Yeah. How about a picture and then an explanation of why you need a strap? I'll tell you why you need this one. I'll tell you what I did the other weekend.
Oh yeah, because I don't think you told us on the last show.
No, I was going to talk about it. So I was at the campground, you know, where we camp, and then just down the road a little ways there is it's like a nature area, and there's this big old barn there, and I did a little shooting there, and I did a little video there, and it's in my birding location, so I always visit this barn anyways, just to get out of the sun for a little while and just kind of chill out and drink water and what have you. And this barn has like an elevated platform, and to get up to it, it's about a little over 4 foot high, you know, so it's up there a little ways, especially when you get older like me, you know, it's a little bit higher of a jump. But so I was up there and I was shooting. I had my camera on a tripod. I had 2 cameras with me. So I had one on a tripod, and then I had my EM1 Mark II, just like this, on another tripod, still had the thing on. So I took it off the tripod and I was shooting. And then I went to jump down. I'm getting too old for that crap. I should know better. So I jumped, and when I jumped, I don't know how I did it, but the camera strap went up and hooked on. There's all these big nails all over the place on these huge old like rough cut beams that support everything. It caught on this nail and jerked the camera out of my hand, and I had a good hold on it because I had the 40. I had the 40 to 150 on it, so it's holding hard. And it swung out, it jerked it out of my hand. The camera hit the pole. It scared the crap out of me because, for one thing, I don't even know how this didn't bust or break loose. I mean, I use these crazy, you know, big heavy deep sea fishing swivels on it, so those are strong. It's testament to how well these guys braided and wove this strap. It literally ripped the whole thing out of my hand, and then, you know, it's an OMD. It's pretty rugged, so it just smacked up against the wood, and I was like, oh my gosh, and I had to wipe the dust off of it and just went back to shooting again. But those straps are strong. They're really strong. Well,
and I think it's because it's paracord, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that stuff's 400 or 500 pounds. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we'll definitely, and we still can, do we have, no, I don't think we do have the code anymore. So this is just going to be the giveaway. So when are we going to give that away? Not the next show.
No. So we'll give them
a whole month to put stuff in like we did before.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah. So
yeah, we'll do that. We'll do our first show in September. How about that?
Yeah, that sounds good. So you see, we make this stuff up on the fly. This was not pre-planned. This is what you tune into the show for.
We're unscripted.
Hey, what are these guys going to do?
Right. And they don't even know.
We don't even know. So there you go. The first show in September. But tell us why you need a strap. But give us, be creative and let's see some pictures.
Yeah, that would be great.
Interesting. I'll be interested to see how that goes.
So let's do a picture share because we still got to announce that we're having a guest on and why we're having a guest on and what we're going to be, what our direction is, in moving forward a little bit, I guess.
Yeah.
So
do you want to go?
Sure. Let me do this. Let me try and share my dog. Hopefully it plays. So I'm sure you can see the dog. So this is Luna, our Shih Tzu puppy. She's like 8 months old now, and she's a pain in the butt, but she's cute. And so she's sitting in the back seat of the car, and this is at 240 frames per second. Now, is it choppy on your end or is it smooth?
Yeah.
Is it choppy?
Getting better. Oh, it's looking better.
So anyway, so that's 240 frames per second. Just super ridiculously slow motion.
And I would encourage everyone to go look at it on Facebook.
Yeah, find me on Facebook. If we're not friends on Facebook, we got issues. You guys need
something's wrong to begin with. Yeah, you're not getting into the contest.
No, yeah, you got to be my friend. I need more friends. I'm one of those. I'm a collector. I collect people.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? We forgot on the strap. We have to put a hashtag.
Oh yeah.
So we can find this stuff on Mirrorless. Because you got to post it on the Mirrorless minutes.
So we did Mirrorless Drobo. Let's do Mirrorless Monarch.
There you go. Mirrorless Monarch.
Yep. There's only one way to spell Monarch, people.
All right.
All right. So, all right. So here are my photos. This one probably won't come across very well because it's like a wickedly wide panel. I'm assuming you can see it, but it's so this is Pure Marquette Beach in Muskegon, and shooting there again with Jerry James, another Olympus shooter, waiting for a storm to roll in. And if you look over to the right side of the image, there's a lighthouse out there. We had friends that were out there on that pier that goes out to it, and I have photos of them taken with the 300mm f4 with the teleconverter on it. And we actually used the 14x magnification to identify exactly which two people were out there that were people we know out of the dozens and dozens of people. So my buddy Jerry took a photo of the back of my camera and then messaged those guys and said, "Hey, we're watching you," which is kind of funny. But so anyways, this is shot with the EM1 Mark II and the 12-100 f4. And this is comprised of 6 shots in portrait orientation stitched together as a pano. Now, a little differently than probably most people do it, because each one of those 6 shots is actually comprised of 3 shots bracketed to make like an HDR. So it's actually a total of 18 shots. I always like to just do stuff a little bit differently, maybe a little more than I need to, a little overkill. But it was, again, just one of those things where I wanted to give it a shot. I really don't remember the exposure settings for this. I know that it was wide open though at f4, and I'm going to just go out on a limb here and say I was at like ISO 400 or 800 because it was starting to get a little bit darker, and I needed this foreground exposed a little bit more. I mean, I know that I was going to get it with a bracketed shot, but I wanted to make sure that I definitely had plenty of exposure there, and I didn't have any like blacks in the waves right here. So that was what that shot was. The next shot is with the 7-14, again on an EM1 Mark II. And again, this is a bracketed shot, but I've also got a Nisi 3-stop filter on as well. If you ask me why I'm doing some of these things, a lot of it is just experimentation. I mean, everybody knows how to throw a filter on to get a longer exposure. Everybody knows how to set up I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people understand, how to do this, how to set up a long exposure with an ND filter, or how to set up a bracketed shot to do an HDR. But I always feel like there's something extra you can do just by experimenting and just trying to do things completely different. So that's what I was doing here, is longer exposures, but also bracketed as well, just to kind of play around and see what I could get, make sure I could get plenty of detail, out of the cement here, the cement blocks or whatever these are on the beach. Again, just playing around. And I think that's something that everybody needs to do when they go out and shoot. Try things differently. Do things that might not seem to make sense to you when you first go out, and just see what the results are. And then analyze those results and see what you can do to alter those to maybe get something a little different than you might have otherwise gotten. The next shot, this is a raw file, so you can see right here in the preview window on the left, I just drug a raw file over here, so no edits, straight out of the camera. Let me take a sip here. Getting thirsty, folks. So this is my son Carter. They were having water balloon fight at my sister-in-law's camper next door to ours. So Carter's filling up a balloon, and these balloons were just cheap water balloons. And they kept popping. Like every time they tried to fill them up, it seemed like half of them popped. So I just sat over there with Pro Capture on. So this is file number 0181 and 0182 is the burst. So this is why you should enjoy Pro Capture, whether you get it on the TG-5 or if you get it on the OMD EM1 Mark II. Being able to capture a shot like this is a piece of cake. I literally have about 15 shots that look just like this with just different color balloons being used or different kids having them explode. It is so easy to get a cool shot like that. So I just wanted to share that. And this is shot at ISO. So this is with the 12 to 100. So it's f4. It's getting to be like later in the day, a little darker out, so I needed to bump up the ISO so that I could get a faster shutter speed. So this is at ISO 1600 on these, and I think my shutter speed was at 800th of a second. The rest of these shots are going to be shot with the TG-5. So these next two were taken at a farmer's market in Muskegon. So before I went and shot with Jerry, during the day I went to Muskegon with my wife to do a little grocery shopping for the camper for dinner that night, and we wanted fresh foods to make these little foil packs to cook over the campfire. And I found these people that were selling all kinds of cool stuff, including these mushrooms that they raise themselves. And I just wanted to play around with just being able to get in a shooting situation where I could take pictures of people and pictures of things and have people not giving me funny looks if I had like a big camera. So that's where the TG-5 comes in handy. This is using this is straight out of the camera. There's no edits to this one. So I wasn't even using an art filter on this one, which lots of times I'll do. I'll usually put on pop art too, because I like the way that the colors look with that. But this one is straight out of the camera from the TG-5 and just completely like an eye auto. I didn't even have it in aperture priority or anything like that. I just let the camera just do its thing. And the same with the next shot as well. Just seeing what I could get with depth of field. So this was shot in aperture priority, and I had the lens wide open on this. And I believe on this camera, if I'm not mistaken, it's still at f2, and it is. I'm looking at the camera now. So this would be wide open at f2, just to see what kind of fall off I would get, what kind of bokeh I would get shooting with that. Super fun camera to shoot with. And then the last shot, kind of cool. You know, I've always wanted to see this stuff in the wild. I've never seen it, and it's called Indian pipe, and it's pretty unique. It almost would look like a plant, and it would almost look like a fungus, and I need to do a little bit more research on it, but I'm almost certain that it is a plant. It just has no chlorophyll, so it's basically like an albino plant. And this was shot with the super macro mode, and the reason I'm sharing this is, well, for one, because I wanted to shoot Indian pipe, and I was excited. But the second one is because this is at ISO 800 straight out of the camera on the Tough. To be able to shoot at ISO 800, or even higher, which this camera will do, and get this clean of a file is just, it's a big deal to me. I love the fact that that I can shoot at a higher ISO with a point and shoot camera. That's kind of foreign territory to me. I'm used to having to have, you know, the Pen F or an OMD with me to shoot at a high ISO. So having a camera I can literally stick in my pocket and then shoot even when it starts getting a little darker out and get good photos, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, those are nice shots, especially the you know, the different fruits. The mushroom one, it really does look like you have a filter on.
I know it does.
I mean, that is a nice, just a nice, good shot, and it makes you. That's like an ad shot. You know, they could put some copy across the top for
know,
for whatever
mushroom farm
for the mushroom farm. That's what it looks like. Well, there you go. Go back next week. You have to sell it to them.
We are actually going back.
So. Yeah, that's good. It is cool. All right, let's see if I can get in here. I know we're probably going long, but we'll be all right.
Oh yeah,
yeah. All right. Do you see the sunflower?
Oh yeah.
I had to share a sunflower. I said, oh geez, everyone is taking pictures of sunflowers, but I spent a lot of time, like we talked about earlier, shooting a lot of video with DJI Spark out at the sunflower field, but of course I had my OMD EM1 and the 12-100 with me, and I threw it actually in Pro Capture to see how it would work with bees. And I'm telling you, with the 12-100 to get this close to a bee, I was really getting worried about getting stung on this thing. But really cool that you can use Pro Capture to, and it was getting, sun was going down, so it was getting dark out. Really neat to see. And then I had gone to Vegas a couple of weeks ago, and we spent some time downtown Vegas on Fremont Street. And if you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. They've got this huge light show that runs over the street at night, but they also have this zip line that's been there now a couple of years. And during the day, you hear people screaming as they're going overhead, and that's fun. I'm sure during the day you don't have the light show, but at night it really turns into something different. With the people and the flashing light show, and they've got they play all kinds of rock songs. It's pretty cool what they do at night, but these people come flying by. So of course, silhouetting the hangers on there as they're flying by in the zip line. And it turned out pretty neat. This actually shot, again, this was the Pen F, I believe, and the 14-42 EZ. So, it definitely was a high ISO shot, but really a sharp area. And then later on at night, this is out from our hotel room. This is with the Pen F and the 12 millimeter prime, the 2.0. And I've always had these shots down from the ground, getting shots of the fountain in front of the Bellagio and, doing different things. But I didn't use, I have some live composite from here. This is not a live composite shot. This is just a longer exposure, just over a second exposure. And I wanted to get everything frozen. I wanted to get the falls frozen up, or not the falls, but the fountain frozen up like that, and just get a real sharp, clean look to the back of the city, and just to give an idea of what Vegas is all about at night. So that was a lot of fun. And then, so here, this is the new camera. I'm going to talk about it for a minute, and I'll show it just before we probably take off here. But this camera, this Insta360 Nano, turned on by Mike James, Sharky James. If you listen to the Petapixel podcast or know him, you should be listening to it if you don't, because I listen to it. I know Jamie does. It's a great show. And they just celebrated their 200th show. But and anyway, so I picked up this camera, and this is really a lot of fun. And here's one of those tiny planet pictures it does when I was out at the out inside the sunflower field. And same thing this weekend while I was out with my wife, and we're biking, and I did this one in the forest. And it's just a lot of fun. I'm learning how to work with it. You can make videos with it. And Jamie doesn't know it, but I took a picture of us earlier, and already put it into perspective. I'll show that when we finish up here. I don't have it on the thing to show. I'll have to show it through the camera. And this last picture is just 2 nights ago when we went out riding with the TG-5. And hey, the raw files are already recognizable. Of course, this is a raw file taken, and they're recognizable in Lightroom. And great shadows to light in this one, because this was really dark in this area. So the recovery was very nice on that raw file. So real happy with that camera for sure. And and taking it out, and like Jamie said, I got a lot of stuff I got to work on to figure it out. We're not big on instructions, so
no. I'm
but
the
yeah,
worst.
so look at this picture. I don't know if you can see it. It's
that's crazy.
It's the 360. And I made us a tiny planet so you can actually see me and you in the camera.
That is so crazy.
Yeah, so we'll put it. I know I can only imagine. Actually, that's.
I want to mount it to my drone.
Get some pictures out there before you. Yeah, and if you have a Spark, and you get this camera, don't mount it on top of it.
Right.
From experience, it looks really cool, and I have pictures of it. Because I thought I was going to be so excited to do this 360 over the sunflower field.
Oh yeah,
won't work on a Spark. The Spark was going like this, screaming, going, what's on my back?
Oh no.
I think you need a Phantom. I'm pretty sure you need a Phantom to make that happen. I don't even think a Mavic would be good with that.
No,
so
that's Jamie's. It's in my cart on Amazon.
Yeah.
I just have to make it happen.
Yeah.
So before we go, I just want to do two things. Number one is mention that the next show we're gonna have a guest on. So Jason, and I hope I say his last name right. I'm gonna say his last name is Ortel.
Yeah, I know.
I should have asked him before I did this. He's probably watching right now. He usually watches and cooks dinner, and I feel like such a jerk. But so Jason works at Adobe. We'll let Jason tell you more about what he does at Adobe
and how to pronounce his name.
That would be awesome. Yeah. Hopefully we do that before the show so I don't do this again. And so Jason is kind of he's our gateway drug into the world of Adobe. Okay. So Jason has been kind enough to get the ball rolling with Mike and I, as you know, in working in partnership with Adobe on some stuff. So we're going to be doing some cool giveaways with Adobe like we've talked about before. So, but we're going to have Jason on, and one of the things that we're going to start talking about too more and more is video, because Mike and I are starting to capture more and more video and we're just not utilizing it. And a lot of people do that. And I think that's a big thing for a lot of people is that, man, you know, all these cameras make great video, you know, I mean, come on, 4K in this thing.
I know.
You know, so you have the ability to capture better video than people have ever been able to capture before, but then you don't do anything with it. So I think what Mike and I are kind of doing is we're doing this whole learning how to get the video, process it, put it together, and make something out of it. And then I think we're going to start just sharing that with you guys, you know, like how this whole process works, you know, what it takes to go from being somebody who shoots video and then just never does anything with it to somebody that shoots video and uses bits and pieces of it to put something together, you know, so that you can share it, you know, with friends or family or online. And hence the reason Mike and I are using NAR boxes. And, you know, we're getting all the pieces in place to start adding video to our video here. So
exactly. And it's, you know, I think it's real fitting for the show because both of us are mainly still photographers. I mean, I know you'll do a lot more video whether it's, you know, unboxing or reviews, but still it's not the
not our primary
video. It's not the primary thing. So it's perfect for this kind of show. We're both learning and we can learn along with you and show you some great things. And I think our partnership with Adobe will be fantastic with that.
Yeah, without a doubt. And, you know, and I think that I think it's probably going to be something that a lot of people like, because I think everybody who is into photography probably has at least some interest in video. And I think coming at video from a photographer's perspective probably helps more than somebody just getting into video with no experience in either. So it'll be cool. Yeah. And last thing I want to mention is that if you're in Minneapolis or near Minneapolis, I've got an event coming up September 7th, 8th, and 9th. I'll be in Minneapolis working with National Camera Exchange and Olympus. Thursday night, I'll be doing a drink and click. Love doing drink and clicks with Juan. It's always
because of the drinking or
because of the clicking, dude.
Okay. All right.
It's the social clicking that I like. I don't think I've ever drank at one of these things.
You usually don't have any time to.
No. So again, September 7th, 8th, and 9th. That's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'll be there 3 days doing different things. Thursday will be a drink and click. Friday, I'm going to do a presentation. I'm going to talk about my perspective on shooting urban photography as somebody who's into nature and wildlife. I think I might come at it a little bit differently than somebody who is like a hardcore urban person like Mike. So that might be interesting. And then Saturday, let's go for a walk. We'll go do some urban shooting, some street shooting, city shooting in Minneapolis. It'll be a good time. So I'm looking forward to it. So September 7th, 8th, and 9th.
All right, and I'm going to do one last thing, and it's going to be talking about the next show and your last Between the Minutes. If anybody hasn't listened to the last Between the Minutes by Jamie, and I believe this is the last one, you got a little bit on the soapbox about sharing.
Yeah.
Am I right? Okay. And which I thought was a fantastic Between the Minutes, by the way. All from a Facebook post.
Several of them, but yeah.
And all to do about sunflowers.
Ironically.
But go listen to that. And then I was going to actually do a Between the Minutes on this, and I thought, you know what, there's not going to be time. And our next show, if you guys don't know this, it's our 3-year anniversary. All right. So in spirit of what Jamie said about sharing, if you go back 3 years ago and maybe a little bit longer than that, if some crazy guy from Eaton Rapids isn't sharing crap and talking about Olympus, this show isn't on. I mean, that's how it works. We didn't meet like at a Photoshop or hang on. We've met online, and actually for months. The first time we saw each other was like 4 months after we had been talking.
Yeah,
which was actually like a photo walk. So, but you know, this show don't come off unless you share, and I just think that's a great message. Anybody who listens to this show shouldn't be protecting their places. We should all be sharing, and and look what happens when you do share. A crazy show goes for 3 years,
right?
You know, and Adobe's now partnering with us. I mean, come on, we gave away a Drobo.
Yeah, how wild is this? Yeah, right.
So yeah, that's all. That's just my soapbox. 5 minutes there. So,
did your Alexa just turn on?
No, that was Siri. Because I said serious.
I changed all my echoes at home so that you have to say computer, because all the freaking commercials on TV say Alexa, and then all my dots wake up. It's annoying. I'm like, stop.
Yeah, it drives me nuts.
All right. Well, anyways, now we're talking about that. So tune into the next show, you guys. We're gonna welcome on Jason from Adobe. It's huge. You know, 3 years of doing this, man. It's crazy.
I know.
So thanks for tuning in, everybody. We love you guys all so much. Remember, Mirrorless Monarch. You can win that sweet strap that Mike showed off, and we'll talk to you guys later.
See ya.